Hello! Let's turn that down a bit. Hello again. How is everyone? We're doing some more game dev. It's gonna be great. Wow! Welcome in, Mac, Theron, Al. Hope you are all doing well this fine Wednesday. Welcome in, Casual. All right, so I think I figured it out. The one thing that was causing
The world's first, no, second, third, fourth, Dobbs type video game.
That's right. The Dobbs type genre is ripe for yet more video games. Thank you for 25 months, Dupu. That is almost a year. All right, so last time we were having some issues. Last time. So what it was, apparently, is this alpha cut. So here's the problem that I got. So I've got these flat images. They are layered in such a way you can kind of just barely see there. The head is in front of the body, and the feet are on either side, really. But because of the way that depth is calculated for 3D sprites, it depends on which angle I look at it. Like, not just, like, if I turned it all the way around, it's like, okay, I'd expect to see them out of order. But on this side, I'd expect it to be consistent, but it's not until you dig into the Sprite 3D base class, flags, alpha cut, and change it to opaque prepass. And now it's actually consistent. And we get a shadow. So that's nice to have as well. But apparently that's what was going on there. In addition, I got a very basic, decent, it's not much, but it's fine. We might actually slow this down. There we go, just so we can appreciate it a bit more. Who's the cat? It's just a cat. It's Catio. It's Goose. So I don't know what was screwing up last time when I was trying to animate the rotation and it just wasn't working. It's working now. I don't know why. I don't know what changed. I turned it off, turned it on again, and we're good. So we'll take it. And now the next portion. I threw it all under a single parent item here. It's called Sprites, which is just a Node 3D. And what I want to do is I want to find a good way to do the little, like, flip. You know, in paper likes, whenever a character changes which direction they're moving, they have to flip in 3D space because that's cool and fun and stylistically appropriate. The character is just officially Goose. It's just a straight up JPEG of Wario, like no transparency, just a rectangle image. So obviously there's a problem with just flipping the whole character around, and that is that the layering gets reversed, and we don't want that. So one thing I tried just very, very quickly just to see if I could get this working is target sprite rotation, new variable there, that if you are trying to move left, we set the target rotation to -pi, or pi is effectively equivalent, but the direction of the rotation. And then if you're trying to head to the right, then it's 0. And every individual sprite gets rotated in place. So if, let's say, the head is in the front, and then we rotate them both, then it'll do like this number. So the head is still in the front, but now they're facing the opposite direction. So they're just pivoting in place by 180 degrees. And that almost works. That's close. There is one weird little artifact with the sorting still, and I don't know what's going on there. I don't have anything great to... Oh, also weirdly, up and down does count that as a 0 input. I gotta watch out for that. So also, here's the problem. Let's look at the animation for the feet. Let's slow that down and pay attention to how the feet actually rotate. So you can see they kind of swinging ship style, like a swinging ship theme park ride, right? They're rotating. They're not just moving. They're also rotating, which is what I want. But there's a problem with that. Specifically, when everything flips around. And let's actually move the camera nice and close so we can get a good view of this. Get a good look at these feet. Show these feet. Okay, right? So that's doing what I want. When I turn around, everything's facing the right way, but the rotation, it's still doing exactly what I told it to do, which is rotate this way when you get towards the front and this way when you get towards the back, but the front and back are on opposite sides now. So as it does that, it's sort of like the rotation is going counter to what it should. See, it's still going to the same place it's expecting to need to go to. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, if we were to take this, I can't quite do that. Let's disable this animation temporarily. Sprite head animation. Let's say the head bobbed forward and backwards or something. I don't know. Can we make that happen? Not really. Well, let's see. Let's just add a second. All right, have a good one, casual. Well, let's just add a little backpack cat. Pretend that we're gonna have a backpack cat here. Sprite 3D. And that is gonna be our test cat here. It's a little big. It's a little big. Scale that down a bit. All right. Let's just say this is a little backpack, a little shoulder cat that rides on your back. Okay? So, what'd you miss? You missed backpack cat. All right. So what the problem we're gonna see here? And again, let's move this camera in. Nice and close. Okay. Yeah, so what we're gonna see here... Oh, Backpack Cat is, Let's move Backpack Cat a little bit more into the back. So the problem is that when we turn to the left, we want everything to pivot around to the other side, but it's not going to. Everything's just rotating in place. And now it's not in the back anymore. It is rotating, but it's not in the back. So really, it's kind of like what we want to do is... Ooh, I don't know. this depth is going to make things a little bit weird. So thinking in the third dimension, it's like we want to mirror everything and make it do this little rotation business. Animations are going to be weird. So I wonder, can we just rotate this whole category if this animation is playing? And I just take this whole thing here and rotate it around the y-axis. Then we get this, which is close to what we want, except now everything is flipped on the z-axis. So if we scale it by -1 on the z-axis, that's not correct. Oh, because it's, there we go. -1 on the z-axis. Ah, now we're getting somewhere, and we still have the correct animation. All right. A breakthrough. Now, notable thing that we're gonna leave off the table is back-facing sprites. I don't even think the GameCube version of Thousand Year Door did back-facing sprites. I know the remake did, which is every image had a backside that had different art on it, so that when you were walking away, you would see the back of the paper and like the back of people's heads. And I don't think that's necessary for what we're doing. It's a cool effect, but it does complicate matters. So I think we'll just not do that. I think this is what we want to aim for is somehow we set the rotation of this sprite's container to a certain value, but also we scale the Z factor by -1 when it is facing left. I think we can do that. Let's try some things out here. So target rotation. Instead of rotating the children of the sprites category, we're going to rotate sprites itself. Actually, this is a good start right away. Let's do this. And there we go. That might get us everything except for the Z scaling. Yeah, there we go. That's got us proper walk cycle. It's just everything is flipped around. So all we gotta do is make sure to say if sprites container.rotation is ever less than -pi/2. So once it hits that midpoint, then sprites container.scale .z equals -1, else it equals +1. And that should flip the order of the sprites at that moment. So let's try that. Oop. Nope, that's not a thing. Oh, whoops. Yep, I see. Rotation.y. But of course. All right, let's see. Hey, we've got a perpetual backpack cat. Oh my gosh. Hey, that's looking all right. Okay. This means animation is possible in this method. Like this is a pretty low-tech example of what you could do, but this gets us the pre-baked, like, we can define animations. We can keep the layering order even after the flip. That's actually kind of the big tricky part about this, is keeping things in back that are supposed to be in the back because after you turn around physical objects, the things that are in the back would be in the front. So you have to pull a little bit of trickery there to make that work. So the next piece is, oh right, when I just go up and down, it keeps wanting to flip me to face the left. That's just an edge case. If direction.x is greater than 0, do one thing. If it else, which means if it's less than or equal to 0, then you're facing left. That's not true. We want actually all the way less than 0, not just less than or equal to 0. So that means if 0, do nothing. All right, so yeah, we're still facing right, flip, and we're still facing left. Perfect. That's it. That's pretty good. I'd be vaguely interested in changing the shadows mode. You know that thing they did in 3D platformers? I mean, I guess the Stark shadows look kind of cool, but for jumping, it's like, what am I above? What position am I above? You don't know. It would be nice to have one of those little, like, circle shadows. I don't know how those actually work yet, so we'll have to learn that at some point. But yeah, there you go. That's a basic flipping sprite. Flippin' sweet. All right, I don't like this. That shouldn't happen, but then again, the camera's not supposed to be that close anyway, so not a big concern. All right, flip this around. Let's pull that camera back out a ways. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. FOV still seems weird. I don't know what that is exactly, but that's not a huge concern. All right. The next basic system that you would want for something like this. Also, you don't want to allow this, by the way. Next basic system would probably be. We want the ability to switch animations based on what's going on. And this one's going to be a little bit tricky because I want to have a straightforward system that I can use for multiple different setups. So the most obvious setup is I am the player, I am deciding what is happening. Running versus walking would be good. We may make a special case for the player to set the animation speed based on their actual walking speed. So we could do things like if you're barely tilting the control stick, then the animation plays slower and you move slower. But most things will just have a single speed. Standing versus walking is probably the base thing we need to figure, and jumping versus either of those. So yeah, I guess those are the 3 animations that just about every sprite is going to have. Well, that's not even true. Some things are just going to stand there. So we want to have some kind of compositable logic blocks that we can attach to various types of sprites. Like if we just have a random NPC that will walk over to the left a bit, look around, walk over to the right a bit, look around, repeat. We want to make it so that all we have to do is define, okay, sprite moves here, sprite moves there, and automatically the sprite knows I need to be facing left, I need to flip, 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 walk right, flip, 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 switch to my walking animation, switch to my standing animation, switch to my walking animation, switch to my standing animation. It can do that automatically. That's the hope, at least. It's a little tricky because we want to think about things like I don't know what actual physical elements would be in the final game, but we want to plan for things like conveyor belts. Conveyor belts are a situation where the sprite is moving, but it shouldn't be in its walking animation. So actually there are ways around that, aren't there? I want to make sure we're careful about how we implement this. The thing that comes to mind initially, and maybe this is fine, we're going to think it through, is the idea of if the sprite has a velocity, if the sprite is actually moving somewhere, it should switch to its walking animation. If it is stopped, it should switch to its standing animation, which is likely some kind of idle animation, not just being perfectly still. Combat animations, I'm a little worried about that system. That's going to be its own kettle of fish. I do have some vague ideas written out. So here's what I was considering. Take your basic Goomba style enemy, which is probably going to be a pig in our game, because that's the theming. So it might do like a idle battle animation of just kind of bouncing its head around, and then it walks towards its target, whoever that is, and then maybe does like a little hop, but it would be like an arc hop, not like a I'm in the air, I'm not in the air. So in that case, it's like, well, how do you do that? That's contrary to the base system. That's got to be some kind of special handled system. There's a good chance that a lot of enemy attacks will need specific custom code to define the animation for each one, because we want them to work regardless of where their target is. That's its own thing, is, walk up to your target and then jump into it. My target is not always going to be in the same place. Like, here, let's actually use this scene right here as our demo of main character versus enemy. Usually the main character is right here, and enemy will walk up to main character and then attack. That's fine. But maybe they're attacking the partner, because, maybe in this game we have partners in combat. We want that. That's a pretty certain thing that we're going to aim for. In that case, the character has to walk to a different location. So their target location is not set and may need to be handled by code, not by some kind of baked animation. And here's the really awful thing. Confusion is a common status effect. I've had status effects on the brain that causes the enemy to attack one of its own teammates. So in that case, its target is behind it, and so it has to turn around and get next to its target and then attack. Ooh. So that's going to be something. It could be that every single attack in the game might have to have some kind of like actual code behind it. I mean, that shouldn't be surprising, but it's less likely that there's going to be some very powerful system in place where I can configure attacks. It's more likely that I'm going to be writing code that says, search for the target location, move towards target location over a period of X frames at Y speed, pause for this many frames, and so on and so forth. It's going to be me telling it, then you switch to this animation, then you switch to that animation, then you switch to this animation. So, you know, we'll figure it out, of course, but it's going to be a little bit messy, probably. I think as a good rule of thumb, most things should have a moving animation, a in the air animation, and an idle not moving animation. I think that's very fair to assume. Once we get that working on our base test character, then let's see if we can extract that code out and make some make it so that we can use it on anything. And then we'll try making these other things move around and see if they can automatically pick up on the same animation tree. Not to be confused with the thing called animation tree in Godot. We're not using that for this. All right, so animation for walking. Animation player. So we made a walk cycle. Let's make a new one. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Oh, greetings. Oh, it's got to be late over there. Staying up late to catch some Twitch. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. So far, so good. Whipped up a new test project. And we're gonna see how it goes. All right, idle animation is gonna be. We're gonna move this here. Okay, so it does seem like the 3D sprites do seem to lend themselves to this pretty well. So we're gonna hope that this works out pretty well. And I can get away with doing actual 3D rotation now. All right, so insert the key there for foot, both rotation and position. I'm surprised there's not like a single. You know what? Let me Google that. Godot animation. Hi GQ. It's just an orange cat. How many orange cats are there? There's tons of them. It could be any orange cat. It doesn't have to be your orange cat specifically. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're actually going to have to animate them individually. That's a shame. Wait, hang on. Maybe combine position and rotation? You can combine rotation, position, scale into transform 2D in advance and then set transform. Wait, what's that mean? Wait, what's that mean? Oh, that's transform 2D though. Oh, here we go. Animating position and rotation. Oh, no, that's different. Dang. Oh well, we'll do it this way. Backpack cat. Oh, I saw that. I didn't. That was gross. I didn't like them doing that. Discord, I mean. It's just an advertisement. It's just an advertisement with different theming. All right, now let's do the body. Just position. Should we do rotation? That's a concern. I guess that's going to be a per sprite basis, I suppose. All kinds of pop-ups. Yeah. I mean, it was in the news that they are, expanding back or taking a switch back to gaming centric stuff, so they're gonna get all in on trying to like, okay, we gotta make some money, guys, come on. Okay, and then I can raise it slightly and insert a key and then add a track for the head. Oh, you know what? I could, there we go, parent that to the body. Backpack cat. That's official now. Yeah, a free helmet for the avatar. It's like, I don't want cosmetic. I'm never getting whatever advanced version of Discord there is. I'll switch to a default profile picture. I'm gonna have no frills. I don't even have one of the fancy banners on Steam. Stop trying to sell me on things. Platforms. All right, so we're gonna do, whoop, cool. That's what I wanted, yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, the head is behind now, neat. Boop, there we go. All right, let's give this a go. Cool. It is set to loop, right? Oh, now it is. It's a little slow. Said he's gonna try and get people at GDQ to try out Dabble Worlds. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Get Popples away from it. Quick. Don't let him upload anything. Oh, and I saw that, what you call it? Roll20 had a data breach, which is super awesome of them. Love it. My favorite. Where do I just define the duration? Oh, here we go. Look at that. Look at that pro animation. Look at that secondary motion. Amazing. Yeah, I know. It's like they don't have my credit card number because I've never paid for anything on that platform, but still, it's the principle of the matter. Okay. So now what we want to do is in our code, we want to specify that we want to get this animation player working. All right. Oh, right, we have to do the ready up here. Go, tell it that it's going to be an animation player, set it to the animation player. People slowly rolling by golf courses and honking as people begin their swing. That's how you try to time your TTS. It does feel very, very intentional, very carefully considered. All right, so what we're gonna do, let's just look at the velocity. Let's just say if velocity dot length is less than how slow? 0.1. I don't have a good feel for how slow that is. Then animation player dot play, the one called idle. Else animation player, play walk. I think that's how this should work. Let's find out. Won't run on his Chromebook. Man, that's a shame. Hey, look at that. We have animations. I mean, it's not the prettiest animations. Now, I think there's some magical way to, like, make these sort of blend together better. Legally animated. Now, the problem is that it still considers that to be, it considers that to be a walk. So I need to do some kind of is on ground check for a jump animation. I do need to be careful about one thing. Some animations may require like additional sprites to pop out. Like let's take the idea of like a paraglider, you know, or a parachute. The parachute is not normally visible, but when you activate it, it just sort of appears. Blending that into the animation could be weird, so it might just mean that the parachute is always there, but just very small and behind the sprite. And I think that's not an uncommon thing. Like not just for modern games, but for a lot of older 3D games as well, is that a lot of these things were always present, it's just they're kind of hidden away. Okay, so that requires something called an animation tree, which scares me a bit. Using animation tree. Okay, so animation player. You can't really blend it with just an animation player, as only a fixed crossfade transition time can be set. Wait, you can? Wait, that implies that you can crossfade. Where's that? Because I would love it if I can just do a quick crossfade. Playback up. Default blend. 0.2 seconds. Let's try that. Yeah, if this is close enough. Okay. It's a little ugly, depending on where it is in the animation. Okay, you know what? I think 0.2 is just too long. 0.05. Oh, hey, that's fine. Just kind of snaps back into position. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I'm floating, obviously. That's a bit of a problem, but like this isn't an actual sprite that we're gonna do. That's doable. Huh. Maybe we don't have to learn animation tree tonight. I would be quite on board with that. All right, jumping animation is gonna be new animation called jump. Straightforward. And then we got to do all this again. This is a little annoying, and I'm sure it's gonna really. I can't select multiples. Can I right-click this and no? Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be something. All right, lock that in as basically just right there. Kicky feet? Maybe you should have kicky feet. Uh-oh, where does kicky feet go? This is foot right, so that's this one. And then foot left. Let's delete that. Okay, then foot left. Needs to be in the front. Maybe for now, just for easiness, we just won't do anything. How about that? Here, we'll just animate these two parts for now. I just call that the jump animation. It doesn't even loop. It's just a set frame. Just because we don't want to get too bogged down in this, since it's not a real sprite. It's just a placeholder just to learn how these things work. Is on floor. Then play the. Oh wait, if not on floor, then play jump. That should be the entirety of our. It still kind of wiggles. What's going on there? Oh. Huh. It's a function call? Well, let's try that. There we go. Now what's that? Why is it? Hang on, let me. Oh, no, it's fine. Okay. Can the wiggle speed up? I mean, yes, but only if we were actually making that as a real sprite. This is a placeholder. Any work we do on it is moot. It is out the window. We need to make real characters with real animations. Mario, we need real animations, Mario. Mario, we gotta animate 100 different sprites. We need 100 of something, Mario. This works. That's weird. That's weird, but this does work. Okay. The next piece for tonight is a random placeholder, you know, just something like that. Mario! Mario? Mario! Velocity, yes. Okay. I think what we're gonna do is make a base thing. Okay. Base actor class. New script. Actor base. And this will extend character body. Everything will have a speed. No. That's what they want you to do. But if we do this, then we're just throwing it into then suddenly it's like in 50 different places. So we need some kind of utility, some kind of globals class, unfortunately. And this one needs to be an auto load. There we go. I don't remember how I've done this before. me see if I can find it. We're looking at the Dabble code base. Okay, well this should work then. If we just do like var okay, let's change this from globals to
Almost time to shop at my favorite store, Dungeons, Dragons, and Beyond.
Turtle, thank you for that. 43 months. That's, gosh, that's just about a year, isn't it? That's incredible. Thank you, Turtle. It's almost, oh my gosh, it is almost time. You're right. That's exciting. Very nearly a year and very nearly time. I'm so excited. Okay, game manager. So we should be able to do game manager.globals.base speed. So let's just have that in what did we do here? Speed as a const, but we're not going to make it a const. So game manager dot globals dot base speed. It doesn't like this. Game manager not declared in current scope. Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Come on, be cool about this. It's there, trust me. Like, does it need to be here? No. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad place for it. Just gonna make Glane find his cat in 5 minutes and send it back to the Ironlands. Wouldn't that be fun? Why can't I? Oh, because I named it. All right, delete. Pull it back in as game manager. There we go. Boom, we're good. Now it's game manager. That is a fun fact. In 5e, is like your average commoner still at a disadvantage on average against a cat? Nope, you're out. And that's it. That was the end of Glane's storyline. We did it. We solved his troubles. Just get an army of cats and you can take over a town. At least 9 hit points. Oh, really? Like, I want to say it was something like in 3.5, because of course it always comes back to freaking 3.5. Let's see here. Cat versus just a random human, which isn't even a monster. Because it's, well, of course it's not. It's, so it'd be a class commoner. Commoner has a D4 hit dice. So if you're a human commoner, you would be starting with 4 HP if we're being like friendly and letting you start with max. Cat does have 2, but also an armor class of 14. And an average commoner would have an AC of 10. Oh yeah, 1d3 minus 4, so it's not going to be a lot of damage. 1 damage at a time. Yeah, commoner may have +2 to it. Wait, no, commoner doesn't have +2. He's proficient with 1 simple weapon, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he happens to have his favored weapon, which is going to be a simple weapon, huh? A club. A club makes the most sense, right? Deals d6 damage. Base attack bonus 0 for commoner. Strength 0. So like he's rolling just a 20, just a 20-sided die, no bonuses, right? And he's got to hit a 14. 14 or better. So 7 out of 20 chance. More than likely, he'll one-shot it if he can get the hit. But he's got to get the hit. Oh, Cat's got full attack of 2 claws, +4 melee each. Oh, okay. So 5e is a little bit more friendly for commoners. Yeah, that makes sense then. Oh, weapon finesse. Okay, so it's going to be using its dexterity. That makes, yeah. But yeah, 2 shots with +4. If you roll, like, you're just aiming for a 10 or better, odds are in your favor. 25% chance you hit both of those, and you just deal 2 damage to the commoner, who may only be starting with 2 HP, depending on how their hit die is rolling. Yeah, 10 across the board for strength, dex, con. Makes sense. But yeah, the cat has a decent chance of dealing 2 damage in the first round. And almost certainly wins initiative. You have to roll a die. You can't just roll around on the floor. Although I should add that as a possible command. You have rolled on the floor. Congratulations. Don't ask me why you'd want to roll 3d8 minus a d6. Doesn't make any sense to me. In my original pass on this, you didn't have to include the d. So rolling 6 would evaluate to, I want to have the number 6, thank you. No randomness, please. 6. Natural 6. We got it. So let's see. We want this base class to be pretty sturdy for this. All right, we do need an animation player. I guess we'll do gravity. No, well, yeah, we do need gravity even if we're not jumping. We are gonna need the sprite rotation. 6. So on ready, grab the animation player. You can't add more than 1 script to a single object like you can in Unity. So how does this work? If I wanted to add more stuff onto this character body 3D, can I attach more scripts to it? Oh, maybe I can. Okay. I've never needed to. Godot, attach multiple scripts to node. Oh no, Godot nodes can only have 1 script attached. Compose their logic into child nodes. Make the player script just call the functions they hold. Okay. Oh man, and everybody's about that finite state machine, which I get it. I get it. I like a good finite state machine as much as the next guy. So if I'm putting this on the character body, I guess I can still reference the character body from subscripts. Yeah, from child object scripts. But the fact that this one extends character body 3D, I feel like that one does need to be attached to the actual character body 3D. Just my guess. Okay, physics processing. This is what we have for the main player, but we're gonna cut out a lot of that. First of all, we're gonna take out jumping. Next off, we're gonna take out inputting entirely. Velocity.x move towards. Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna keep this in case something else moves the character, and that's it. And then slide them around. So right now, this should do basically everything that the base character body script does. So we're gonna make one change, which is velocity.x equals negative 0.5. And then throw this on one of those existing character bodies and play. See what happens. Dang it. Right! They don't have animations yet. If you have to use child nodes, that means they can talk to each other. Yeah, they can call functions within each other. That's definitely allowed. Okay. How can I test? Check what animations. How to check if a specific animation is playing? No. How to check if a particular animation in a animation player is playing? No. I want to get the list of I want to see what animations are actually in there. Returns the key of the animation that is queued. No. Get blend time. No. Not queued. I want to see a list of animations that exist. Set blend time, set process, set root, stop. Huh. Oh, you might be able to get it from list of animations. Anything? How to get list of animations within an animation tree state machine? No, not that either, but ugh. Is there another way to view the list of animations in the animation player? Here we go. Oh. Okay, hang on. Maybe it's not even a problem. What happens if... All right, let's say if... Because it might be null. If it's not null, then do all this stuff. Because right now that's what we're running into, is there's no animation player at all. We haven't even run into this. Okay, but now we hit this rotation because there's no sprites container. All right, we're just kind of patching this up a little bit, patching the holes as we run into them. Oh, hey, he's sliding. Oh, he's sliding all right. Uh-oh, no. Oh, no. I'm a cylinder, I'm so sorry. I'm a capsule. Okay, so we don't even need to know. However, we do want an animation. So the idea is we just need to name it animation player. And also would be nice to have a sprites object for the purpose of flipping things. So let's add a child node to this little placeholder, just a little node 3D. Call it sprites. Set this sprite as that. Add an animation player. Boom. Go into 3D and let's actually make him walk now. First off, let's set him up right. And now let's give him an idle animation. We're just gonna call it idle. And it is just that doing nothing. And then new animation called walk. He's not gonna have a jump animation at all. This is again the same thing, except he's gonna just kind of bounce up and down a bit. And that's the animation. Incredible. Give it a play. Wow. Loop it even. All right, cool. Play. Okay, good. It looks dumb, admittedly, but trust me, it's fine. Godot, get age of a thing. Time. Is it really that time? Get ticks, get date, get date string, no. Get ticks USEC, microseconds since the engine started. Whew. That's close to what I want. I just want like a really basic timer. Unix time from system. There we go. If t mod, what is this in? Number of seconds. So let's go mod 10. Let's do a 10-second loop. If it's less than 3, then do this. Else, if, and then repeat this a few different ways. If it's less than 5, then 0. If it's less than 8, then positive. And else. All right. Oh, right. So what I'm expecting here, and we're gonna see if we got it. I'm expecting this thing to just kind of wander to the left, wait a couple seconds, wander to the right, wait a couple seconds, repeat. Maybe not necessarily in that order. Dang it. Float and int. in operate. Okay, let's cast this to an int. Can we cast in GD script? Yes. Oops. Well, look at that. His animation player is playing. He's wandering. But he's not flipping. Why is he not flipping? He's got a sprites container. Target sprite rotation. We ever set target sprite rotation? Ah. Okay, we do need to do that then. Target sprite rotation is based on... Previously, we based that on input direction, which means even if you were up against a wall, if you were inputting a direction, you would turn around, regardless of whether or not you were actually moving. We'll simplify that slightly to look at actual velocity. And that should do it. Whoop, hi. Look at this. Look at this little. We have a little character. Some kind of little character is moving around. Oh my gosh! Look at him go. He's just a little guy, and he flips around like he's supposed to and everything. I don't know why mine kind of just stutters a bit. That's weird. Yeah, he's got a shadow. He's just hopping around. Oh, that's something else right there, I tell you what. Now, right now, he doesn't have a very easily scriptable path. We would want to do that. Maybe make it so that sprites, actors could have defined cyclable paths, or random patrols for the case of enemies. Because the problem now is if he bumps into you, that throws off his whole cycle, and he'll be somewhere completely different because it's just time-based right now. Like, move for 3 seconds whether or not you can move. So if I got in the way, then it's like it would change what his patrol positioning is. Yeah, we got a thing. We got a thing. We're learning the basics of animation in Godot. Sprite 3D, for now, is cooperating. I'm not going to say it's going to last, but for now, it's cooperating. Oh, that's very exciting. I didn't even think we'd get this far tonight. I didn't have anything planned after this point. We had a weirdly successful string of things that we tried. Oh, he's sliding. He's sliding because he doesn't have positions. So let's write some notes then. Let's figure out what things should be the next big thing. Let's see here. Well, hang on. Let's go a little bit. Let's zoom in a bit. Oh, where'd he go? Where'd he go? I turned around and he was gone. Here, if we move these other little characters out of the way, then they shouldn't bump into him. And so his initial his initial cycle should be unaffected. There we go. All right. Actor logic. We would like the ability to have a set of patrol nodes. This would just act as like a series of, first you go to A, then you go to B, then you go to C, and then you repeat. Go back to A, go to B, go to C. And this would allow us to give kind of just little paths for things to follow. And typically it would only be 2 things in that. A, B, A, B, A, B. Maybe some kind of system wherein they can pause at each location for a set amount of time, like optionally, not necessarily pause, but like let's say we wanted to say, all right, go to A, pause for 2 seconds, go to B, and then immediately to C, so that you can path around this level geometry. So it's not baked in that you always pause. Sometimes you pause, sometimes you don't. But that would be useful. So they go to a location, pause for some amount of time. I don't know how we would make that happen exactly. I guess what you'd have to do is, like, you could have like an object called patrol or something like that, and the children of that patrol object are basically just a list of coordinates. Oh yes, they do block the player. Player cannot walk through the sprites. Sprites cannot walk through the player. Capsule can jump onto Capsule. Oh man, I haven't played Bug Fables for a few days, but you can tell it's a capsule. And here's the thing, I don't know if that's just me knowing, like being able to peer to the other side of the curtain and know what's going on behind the scenes, that everything is code and geometry, and I'm like being unreasonably harsh on it, but I don't like how capsules feel, and I don't know why. And I think it's just because I'm so in-depth into the game dev stuff, and Capsule is like the default, and it's like, oh, look at this out-of-the-box project. Do you want blocks? I might want blocks. I don't know. It's like capsules solve some problems, but, you know. So maybe a patrol node whose children define behavior. So you could have like a node representing position, or something that's not a node. How would you have something that's not a node? You could go by name. Ugh, no. What else could you add as a child object? Like, if not a node, then what? You can add just a node that doesn't have a position. So that's possible to do. A timer object. Navigation agent. No. We don't want to actually have them do the pathfinding. I want them to be set. I want to know how it's working. So yeah, maybe a list of things. Like it could be that we actually use the name of the node to define the behavior when it's not positional by just using a base node class just with a special name. So if it's node 3D for go here, node with name for pause X seconds, with a name along the lines of pause 3 or something that we parse. We could actually parse the name for that. Okay, so that's a base. There is actually do patrols so that we don't hard code walk left 3 seconds, pause 2 seconds, walk right 3 seconds, pause 2 seconds, repeat. That's obviously bad. We're not going to do that for real. We want to set positions, not times and speeds, because the positions are typically what actually matters. It would be nice to be able to send commands to things like set a flag at a certain point, but that's something we could build into this system. This seems like an ugly system, but it's all right. Let's think about this. The nice thing for a system like this is being able to just like drag locations into the world and say, oh, I want you to travel to this location, therefore on your patrol node I will set this location and that location. Ooh, can you copy position? No, that's the path of the node. Transform position. Can I copy? I can copy value. Hang on. What does that look like when I paste velocity? Oh. Copy property path. Position. Copy value. Position. What? Copy value. Copy value. Paste value? Okay. Huh. Here's the problem. So let's say I do add a child node, and I just call it patrol. And then I just represent this as a series of nodes, and I say, all right, you're gonna go over here, and then after that, you're gonna go over here. So here to here, that's it. If I were to move this character, like here, to like be their new start point, these two nodes also move a corresponding distance because they are children of this character body, which is acting as the parent. So it's almost like the patrol needs to be separate somehow. I'm not sure if I like that. Like, logically, they are one element. All right, so we're veering into design philosophy over implementation a little bit. How would we want to do this? And ultimately, we're going to have issues with either direction we go. There's going to be problems that we're going to have to deal with. But there's going to be benefits either way as well. So a set of nodes works pretty well. wish there was some way that we could just, well, I mean, maybe it's fine. Maybe the idea is that if we need to move the parent object, then we can just adjust the patrol position, and that's fine. We just live with that. If we're moving that, we're probably adjusting the patrol anyway, right? Like if we need to move something, we're going to be moving a lot of the relevant sub objects regardless. We're going to have to retool that, because the only situation I can think of where we're going to be moving the base object is where we're like having to say, hey, this we want to move this guy's starting point because we're moving around other things, and therefore his whole cycled path is going to need to change anyway. So, you know what? Maybe that works. Now, the thing I don't like is the timer. But now, I don't like it because I don't like the idea of using the names of the nodes, and that feels very hacky. But there is like a timer element. Now, what properties are available on this timer element? A wait time. And, okay, and you would be able to start it at will. Okay. Okay, I think this is doable. It feels like a lot of work to manually add times to everything, but it might make the most sense. So this would be the patrol has its own script, maybe, that adjusts the parent's velocity, I think. Does it belong in its own script? It probably belongs in its own script. And so what it does is it iterates over its children one at a time, kind of a finite state machine that says, okay, my current step is I'm on step 1, which means I need to move until I'm within a certain range of this location. I don't think we look at the Y axis in that case. Maybe. I don't know. That seems... Yeah, we probably ignore Y-axis. We're only interested in distance on an XZ basis. Because I can't think of a lot of characters that are going to be, oh, I need to hover up to this location. That would be a little weird. And then once it achieves that, it moves this element to the end of the list. And then it says, okay, now my first step is timer. So I'm going to start that timer, and then once it's done, that step is complete. Move that to the end of the list, and then, again, repeat. And that's how this works. And this can just kind of have its own little script that we can attach to any patrol. And if all that logic will be in one place, we can just attach it to any character body that needs a patrol-style movement. Which won't be all of them. We may even have a... Okay. Let's say I want to do something special. Like, just have an idle character standing there, and occasionally it just turns around to face the other way. And I want this to be an actual turn that uses the base logic. How do I get it to do that Well, that's easy. I just have the patrol code call the character body's code about sprite rotation and just tell it, yeah, invert it to the other one, whichever one it isn't, just to make it just force a flip. So code-wise, that's easy, but then how do I get that to work in this system I've just described where we have these different nodes that give it steps? Is there anything I can... I guess it becomes just a... Yeah, one of these. It veers into the territory suddenly of having these kind of custom names that describe what they need to do, and then the code has to read the name once it encounters a non-standard node. So we're gonna have special cases, unfortunately. Timer can be handled, I guess. Though that worries me. Let's say I get through most of the design of the game, and then I decide, hey, the patrol timers they feel a little long. We need to make things pause for less time. Then I have to go to every single timer and change it. Alternatively, I could just make this a custom node and call it custom patrol pause or whatever I want to call it. And then that way it's baked into the code, and all I got to do is change the code in one place, and all of those patrol pauses are updated in one go. That's tricky. That is tricky. Okay, but that's fine. So we may do something like pause 3, node for flip, just call it flip, I don't know. Okay, we call it patrol pause, and then, yeah, and patrol flip. Just give it these custom names that we can read. I don't love that. I really want to leverage the scene tree for this. That feels like that's the right thing to do. That's what it's kind of pointing me towards is, oh, I've got a series of steps, many of which include a position element. You know, go to this location, then go to this location, then go to this location. That perfectly works here. Have a little bit of custom code that just iterates over them and just goes to each of those. But the pausing sometimes but not always, that is weird. And yeah, it almost feels like I'm trying to write code in the scene tree. But since I need that positional information, I feel like it's got to be stored as node objects, not hard-coded into scripts. So I think we're going to drive towards that solution and just hope we don't hit too many roadblocks in it. But that is probably what we're going to do. Next piece. We want to have random walk for enemy actors. So if you've ever played any of the very many paper-like games like Bug Fables or Paper Mario, you will have enemies that are just kind of wandering around in the overworld. And when they see you, notice you in some way, they start chasing you, but not past a certain zone. There's not advanced pathfinding at play here. They beeline towards you. They are easy to lose. You can just get any bit of level geometry between you, and it's fine. But until they see you, they have these areas that they will just kind of pick a spot at, walk towards it, wait a little bit, look around maybe, pick another spot, walk towards it, look around for a bit, repeat. And this just gives it a little bit of randomness that has to be worked through. It's kind of almost like a little fun mini game that you encounter multiple times throughout the game of, if I don't want to fight this enemy, I don't have to. And so you get this kind of ability to kind of wait for your moment and then try to rush past him or jump over the enemy, whatever kind of ability you've got. It's very game dependent. So we would need to program some kind of random walk. This would include a zone. What do we have node-wise for an area? That'd be an area 3D, right? Area 3D. What does that look like in here? Area 3D. Collision. Collision shape. Wait, not collision shape. Is it collision shape? It is a collision shape. Okay. So that's interesting. So you can grant that a collision shape, and then we can just say box. And there we go. And then, oh, look at that. Beautiful. So we can just define an area. We could even go with a diagonal area. We could make it a what you call it? A cylinder. Lots of options there. But can we get how it? Ooh. I just felt a very fun problem coming on. Get a random location within an area. So again, much like with the patrol walking, we're going to be mostly flattening this logically, thinking of this as a 2D region, not a 3D region. For the most part, things are going to stick to the ground, and that works very nicely. So you've got a square. How do you get a random location within the square? Well, that seems pretty easy enough. You pick a random number between this and this ceiling enemies. I mean, ceiling enemies are doable, but again, they're going to be moving within a plane. Fourth dimensional enemies. Now we have problems. Pick a random number on this axis. Pick a random number on this axis. There's your random point. Completely evenly distributed. Perfect spread. If you do that a million times and put a little dot at each random location you get, you're going to get this nice, basically TV static. You're going to get an even spread of random noise. Now, problem. Do the same for a cylinder. A circle, rather. Pick a random point within the circle. Now we have a bit of an issue because we can't just pick a random X and Y the same way we did, because we're going to get a lot of stuff outside of the circle. And you could say, if you get one outside the circle, then re-roll. That does fix it at the cost of performance, and we want to be a little bit efficient about this. We want to come up with a system that doesn't do that. So for a cylinder, you could, instead of picking a random X and Y, pick a random theta and radius. But that doesn't, that's not evenly distributed. That's not evenly distributed because the slices are not the same size on the inside as the outside. Basically, if your radius number rolled high, then your points are going to be spread out more. If you picked 10 points along the outside circle and 10 points along the inside circle is going to be much more tightly packed. So that doesn't work. Ooh. Interesting little problem suddenly. I mean, you do get a random point, but it's going to be very heavily weighted towards the middle. How do you get around that? You think you think of integrals, area under curve. Yeah, basically what you have is a triangle versus a rectangle. So, whereas with the rectangular shape, moving left to right along that axis, every slice would be the same size. And so you could choose anywhere along the x-axis at random at an even chance. But here, you want to make it proportional such that the center point of the circle has a weight of 0 and the outside has a weight of 1. And that gives you a triangular distribution. Right? Yeah. So you could choose, again, an x and a y coordinate, and then imagine a diagonal along that rectangle, and if you are on the top half, just mirror over by odd symmetry to the other side, and then you're set. And then map that x and y to theta and radius, or radius and theta. So that's possible. Okay, so circular is possible. However, I don't feel like we're gonna need it. That was probably a needlessly deep dive into picking a random location. So Zone is an area 3D box collider. Pick random location in box. Minimum distance. It would be really dumb if after choosing a new location, the enemy walks half a step before stopping again. And given enough times, that's going to happen a few times. So we probably want to have some kind of alternate behavior if it's less than a certain value. Maybe it drops the value and instead just pauses longer. But yeah, then it'll essentially do the same stuff as the patrol code. Location, pause, flip, repeat. Yeah. That works. That seems great. What else could we do? It's probably way too early to think about like a dialogue system. But then again, dialogue is going to be a very integral part of the game. So maybe not. Yeah, we'll, let's see here. What else can we do? Let's also consider... I mean, let's add it to the list. Dialogue is a huge system, and it's so important, and there's so many things to think about, because the thing that I'm thinking about immediately is just when you get close to an NPC you can talk to, put a little speech bubble over their head to indicate that you can press the button to talk to them. Yeah, 95% of it. It's gonna be something. Dialogue is huge. Okay, so let's think about the basics. Let's think about the basics of here's something I think would be important in RPG dialogue. They should let me advance dialogue by pressing a button. Never. Absolutely not. Never. Walk close to NPC. Get dialogue indicator. And that's it. Now wait. Describe what you mean. Are you talking about actually... Okay, like being able to speed it up. That is a thing. In the playthrough of Origami King that I'm doing right now, I am noticing a lot of locations where they don't let you speed it up, but it's kind of like the voicing of whatever is speaking. Yeah, normal NPC. There's a part of Origami King where you're basically going through like a exhibit showing off multiple things, and so you're listening to these really slow recordings about these various exhibits, and they make the text go particularly slowly just to it's kind of for laughs, I guess, but it's a little bit you're the butt of the joke. It's like, haha, you have to wait. But yeah. It's gonna be a whole system, because that has to be built into the engine that runs all the dialogue. And you definitely want to do wiggly text. We want wiggly text. In Thousand Year Door, there's different styles of text that it can do, like the letters can wiggle or pop as they're coming in, like pop, 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 to kind of indicate yelling. Yeah, and I have no idea how to accomplish that in this. See the whole thing immediately. In some cases, probably. Also, something subtle that you kind of have to be watching for is there's a lot of hidden like voicing direction in Thousand Year Door text bubbles. Not just things like switching the draw mode, but also pauses. Like a character has a sort of vocal inflection like Valley Girl. I remember one on the XS Express that punctuates everything with like, and every time you could read it as her taking a breath. The text is going, then it pauses for a moment and then continues. Like it's very minor, but it's almost like the game is voicing the character's pause. It's not like you're reaching the end of a statement or the end of that text block. It's actually halting the text from drawing for just a fraction of a second before continuing. That's very involved. TD Buddy didn't have full voices. No. The remake had like a little bit of Mario, I think, at some point from Princess Peach. The option to move it along. Yeah, there definitely needs to be a mode for, and I don't know, maybe this depends on what kinds of adventures wind up making the cut. But I would like to have some kind of randomizer friendly mode. Like when you go through some randomizers, they have like basically culled out the cutscenes entirely. It's like you get to a point and it's like, nope, just give me the item. Just give me the item. Go to Sahasrara. You don't have to listen to him. You just talk to him and he immediately gives you the item. You don't even see his text. It's great. I would love some kind of mode like that. Where it's basically like there is no plot. This is the no plot mode. It is gameplay only. Just get your item and leave. Man, he's just going. He's just walking around, isn't he? Bloop, 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 bloop. I love it. Dialogue is going to be tricky. I mean, we haven't even talked about combat, and we're not going to for a while. Oh, I remember. Yeah, that one. It was great. There were challenge parameters you could set when starting a new game. Okay. Ooh, interesting. That probably wouldn't be hard to do, honestly. Like, for just about any system. Certainly makes it harder. I think Bug Fables has a built-in randomizer mode. But nobody has a built-in infinite pit mode. I want my roguelike fun in a 1,000-Year Door sort of setting. Infinite Pit was a nice mod, but there could be so much more. I want to make my own and then go way all in on it. So yeah, dialogue, just getting the dialogue indicator when getting close, of showing an icon over characters to indicate that you can talk to them. Dialogue in general is going to be just how? You know what? Here's something. Custom font? I think I could do a sort of handwriting-esque font. Just making very, very careful strokes to make sort of custom letters and numbers. Because one of the really nice things in 1,000-Year Door is a very, like, friendly, it's not Comic Sans, but kind of a very friendly font to everything. Could give a game a lot of replayability. That's my thought, yeah. Easier to do incremental updates to a mode that is separate from the main campaign. Yeah. I mean, now that's one question is, I mean, it probably should be separate. But it's like, if you make it, should you have it available within the campaign as well? As like something that you can get rewards for? Because I could see it either way. And I'm trying to think of a similar... I'm trying to think of a similar system of something where... it's in the main game, but also you can just play it as a side mode on its own. Because if it's part of the main game, then it's like, does that mean you're going to allow the things you found in the game? And actually, no, I mean, for that, probably not. Like, if you do a roguelike mode, that's one thing, because you got to start at 0. You have to start at nothing, and then build up during the run. But if you're doing like a Pit of 100 Trials thing, in that it's like you can do as much preparation as you want. You can grind out some serious levels, some top, as many of whatever badges you want, all the best items, go crazy. And both of those are good in their own ways. It's like in one, you're getting to, work up this build and then get a reward within that campaign, within your little adventure mode file. But on the other hand, it's like if you're just trying to test your skill, then like going around doing fetch quests doesn't really feel like much for that. I mean, that's something to puzzle over at some point. But yeah, I would really enjoy building something out like that. We're not doing any other work tonight, are we? We're just talking about what work should be done next. Yeah, just having things move around is a great start. Like, yeah, that's good. I'm not sold on how the animation kind of snaps back like that. It's a little weird, but it's fine. Once we get our actual main characters, it'll probably look a little nicer. Yeah, it's probably me just paying too close attention to it. You may need to get it to snap quicker or something. Camera control is going to be its own thing. Okay, so here's something about camera control. Thousand Year Door does this, and Bug Fables has like one area I can think of that does this, where the world has a curve in it, like around a building or something, and the camera follows you. And so you kind of turn with it. So you're still flat side towards the camera. That's going to be an interesting thing to work on, is like camera direction sort of stuff. Probably don't want the camera to go up, but no, that's definitely true. Right now, the camera control is I just parented the camera to the player. So it's actually the camera is a child object of the player. So wherever the player goes, the camera follows, but just as a side effect. Likely what we want to do is have the camera be its own thing, so that like when you reach the end of an area, the camera stops scrolling. When you jump, the camera doesn't follow you unless you land on something. All that stuff. But yeah, games are always a million different little problems to solve, and I enjoy solving those little problems, so that's great. Custom font. All right, hang on. Godot custom fonts. Using fonts. Godot allows you to set specific fonts for different UI nodes. Fonts are covered by copyright. Double check the license of a font. We'll see if I make my own font. That's fine. Okay, so this is going to be something. Here we go. Font's character set layout can be in any order, but orders that match standard Unicode are recommended. There'll be far less configuration to import. Okay, so we can import an image of letters as a font. The following import options can be used to import the above image successfully. Yeah, columns, rows, image margin, character margin. Heck yeah. So basically, if we just have a nice grid that indicates, like, this is the bounding box, do not leave this bounding box, and then I just draw each letter in there in a nice, friendly style, and we'll see if I can make something that looks good. The TTYD font was just really good. Popjoy. Let me see if this looks like what we're looking for. I'm not gonna get the actual font, but oh yeah, that's it. That is definitely it. That is the 1000 Year Door font. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. Probably lots of free handwriting fonts. Yeah, but it'd be a fun thing to work on, is to make my own. This is a great example of it. It's a very handwritten. It's not Comic Sans, but it's got a very delightful thickness to it. Very rounded edges, nothing crisp. Everything's basically made of, you know, a line of circles. Very handwritten. It's very lovely. That would be a very fun project. So custom font, yes, possible in Godot. We don't have to do any kind of weird magic of like creating a font file or anything. We can basically just take an image of letters and import it, and Godot will actually handle that for us. That's very nice. I'm excited about that idea. That'll be fun. That would really make the game, you know, ours. Mine, to be clear. But it's the royal ours. Yeah, I guess that's it. That gives us a lot of things that we can do next time, whenever that's gonna be. Might do Minecraft Friday, and then Sunday, of course, is OwlQuest. Everyone's super excited about OwlQuest. I'm excited about OwlQuest. Cool. We actually did things. We actually got a little bit of progress. How about that? It's not much, but like having things move around. It's very encouraging. It's alive, and it's only going to get better. Like every time we work on this, it's going to get a little bit more full. We need actual characters at some point. I'm going to have to do artwork to make well, to make the actual placeholders. I'm not under the impression that the art that I create will be the final version by any means, and I don't even know if I will be the one to draw the final version in the end. I'd like to, if I can make my art do the thing. The cat. There will be a cat. Like, the first partner is a cat. With a wrench. But this cat specifically. No? I mean, it's a decent design. No, we'll get a cat. We'll get a cat. Her name is Cat. It's a very fitting cat name, you see. Yeah, I thought so. Very memorable. Okay. Let's see here. I think I was gonna see about maybe doing a raid tonight. Oh, nice, Simple Flips. Shout out to Simple Flip. Do not. Let's see. See, D is on, but I can't tell if she's about to end. Sorry, this is gonna be a good project. We're gonna be on this project for a long time, and it's not gonna be an every other stream kind of thing. But I want to make sure we stick to it for a while. Okay. I can't tell. We'll just be done for now, and I don't know. I could squeeze in a little bit of off-stream Minecraft. On-stream Minecraft probably on Friday. Sunday the 7th is OwlQuest, and then Monday we'll maybe do a little bit of this. I might do some of this off-stream just because, you know, it's fun to make progress, you know, and get things working. But it's also fun to draw on stream and stuff and like show the process. So we'll see. All right, have a good night, everybody. See you next time. Bye. Have a good 4th.